Coming in at number 25 in our countdown of the 100 greatest video games of all time, we have come face to face with the devil himself. It is the Diablo series. We're talking specifically about Diablo 2, and Victor Lucas, tell people why.
Yeah, well, Diablo 3 is terrific, and Diablo 1 kind of set the tone, but Diablo 2 is perfection. It was just such an easy game to jump into, and there was some great cutscenes, great fiction, a lot of the world and the myth and the flavor and the character of Diablo as a game series was really built around this game.
The Wanderer. Yes, it was the Wanderer.
1998 is when we're talking, and it was just absolute addiction. Not only did Blizzard add in a lot of layer of storytelling and a lot of RPG depth that was accessible, it wasn't this impenetrable, hefty read or anything like that. Everything about this game, and the reason why it has, I think, resonated for the millions and millions of fans around the world that it has, is easy to get into and easy to kind of soak up and escape into, and impossible to put down, as a matter of fact.
And impossible to make a sequel to, as Blizzard realizes they took them forever to make Diablo 3. I mean, the other thing I want to celebrate about this game is the writing is so good.
It is.
And the voice acting is so good. Absolutely. I mean, you have to think about video games back in 1998. Games weren't delivering this kind of AAA performance from these tiny little characters on screen. The thing that resonates and will always resonate with Diablo 2 is the learning curve could not be more kinder or gentler. I mean, everybody, no matter if you've played a PC game before or not, an RPG or not, you're going to get sucked into this world. And I mean, all you're doing, it couldn't be any easier. You're using the mouse. You're just clicking on where you want to go. You're going around. You're hacking at enemies. You're gathering a whole on a loot. You're just taking it back to your camp. You're buying new stuff, and you're going out.
Miles every once in a while because you're getting your butt kicked.
You get into a little bit of trouble if you go into an area you don't belong in yet. But I love the way that the world continues to sprawl around you. You keep finding caves. I mean, you think you've seen everything in this world. You think you've exhausted everything this game has to show you, and then it trots out something you didn't expect at all.
They nailed it. They got it right.
Nailed it.
And then they went into 3D with polygons and this beautiful, elaborate art style and higher production values with Diablo 3, which is also a wonderful, impossible to stop playing game. But if we're talking about this franchise, if we're talking about this series, it's Diablo 2 that we really need to applaud. And we do, of course, have some reviews of Diablo from the years. All right, buddy, let's talk about one of my favorite video games, Diablo 2, from Blizzard for the PC.
This is a very computerized version of Gauntlet, which means you have to arm yourself with things.
It's not like a typical computer RPG, though. I mean, it's a really easy game.
So many things to arm yourself with, though. The biggest problem I have with it, though, is the controls. It's basically, you have to always hold down a button to run or walk.
I totally disagree with Tommy. It works great on the PC. These guys have really got it down. The amount of bad guys that come on screen and attack you at one time that you have to deal with.
It gets pretty like, it gets pretty intense.
That's incredible. And you can create all kinds of creatures and stuff to help you out.
If you like this style of game, it's the best one ever created.
Soon my army shall pour forth from the shattered mountain, ravaging this world and all hope of resistance.
It was long rumored, but it's finally here. Diablo 3 is playable on the consoles, on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, and soon the PS4. We looked at it on the PS3. What'd you think, my friend?
I went into this thing with all the skepticism in the world. I didn't think it would work. I like this as a PC and as a Mac and as a computer game. I think using the mouse to play the game is so excellent, but this thing works, man. Playing this game as a straight-up third-person action game, it works.
This game is a wonderful piece of art on the consoles. It's really fun.
I just love how there's no barrier between you and enjoying this experience. I love that the game hustles you right into the gameplay. Doesn't waste too much time on exposition. You just find out that there's a star that has crashed into the top of this church, and eventually, over the course of the game, you're going to fight things far worse than those undead creatures. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you.
The power of the fallen star awakened me.
This, I think, stands tall. I think it's one of the better ones out there. It's really accessible, and there's lots of replayability in here, too.
None of us are safe.
I can't believe I've played this game through twice now. And I think if you haven't picked it up, even if you have picked it up for the PC,
it's a different game.
I think you buy it for the PlayStation or the Xbox.
Just having that one-to-one, relationship with the controller and the character,
beautiful.
It changes everything.
No one can stop death.
Thank you, Blizzard, and thank you, Devil. I believe Diablo means devil in Spanish.
That's right.
Am I right?
Number 25. Congratulations.